Good morning. Let's start this week's episode by taking a look at the progress. The mystery bulbs definitely need to be potted up in a bit. The broadbeans, this one's really taken off. The roots are starting to come out the bottom. I think we're going to put these in a pot. The pea shoots, we've got some seeds to plant. A lot of these are going to be done at home. Plenty of growth on these shallots. I am going to rectify this whilst trying to do as little disruption as possible to the onion sets. Right, so I did say I was going to not disturb anything, but looking at the amount of weeds I'm pulling out of this bed, it probably was a good idea that I pulled the onions out. So yes, I have pulled the onions out. They were starting to settle in, put down roots. I'm going to replant them. They are quite resilient, and if they fail, they fail, but this needed to be done. It was bothering me, like I said last week with my OCD, and then secondly, the amount of weeds coming out. I'm going to put some soil conditioner in as well, add a bit of compost, dig it over, and then I think the onions are going to be a lot happier anyway with this bed. Dig this section out here, reset the onions. And then just repeat the process with the second one. Just going to stick the onions in here for a minute. Now I'm happy that I've got the majority of the weeds out, and I've got the beds kind of how I want them to be. So I'm going to sprinkle in some bone meal, which releases nutrients over 5 weeks, rich in calcium for healthy new growth. It's a root builder. It's ideal for shrubs, hedges, root vegetables, but this is good for just conditioning the soil. So we're just going to sprinkle a load into here, and again onto this one, and we're also going to get some manure. We're going to dig that all in, then we'll set the onions back. Those of you who've watched last week's episode know that this is the bottom pile of manure in the garden, which we're using over this season. Lots of lovely healthy organic matter. Unfortunately it's full of weeds, but that's okay because we can just do what we did in the beds and take out the weeds as we go. Let's get this done and have a coffee. Still picking out the odd weed as and when we find it. Plants are a lot more resilient than we give credit for. I mean, the reality is they want to grow, so a bit of this disruption really, I'm gonna say, is not gonna massively impact them at this early stage. Some people plant seed onions and transplant them. You can see how many weeds that were pulled out when we dug this up, and also the fact that we put some conditioning, soil conditioning in with the bone meal and the manure. I just think this is going to benefit in the long run. If we lose a few onions, we lose a few onions, because we've got another bed of onions, we've got shallots going in another bed. I think we're going to be fine. Anyway, so we've gone for 3 rows of the white and the red. I've bedded them in, just pulling out the odd weed as I go, leaving enough room for companion plants. Have a nice coffee. I'm much happier with those beds. I mentioned in a previous week that they were bothering me, and they really were. So I'm so much happier. Just, we've got one other raised bed to fix, but I haven't got a replacement for it. That's the very first one we put onions in at the beginning of winter. At least it's in a raised bed, that's one thing, I can live with that. So I hope you'll stick around. So after this, I'm gonna go home and we're gonna plant up, we're gonna sow some seeds. I've got a list of seeds I want to get sown, so hopefully you'll stick around for that. Before we leave here though, I'm gonna do the carrots. So I've got these carrots, which are little round carrot balls. It says ideal for kids, so if kids can do it, hopefully I can do it. I'm gonna sow these in a tub, just a couple of rows in the tub in the greenhouse. See if we can get some early carrots on the go. I am avoiding the other greenhouse again this week. I don't know why I've made it into such a thing, but I'll be honest, I don't really know what to do with grapevines anyway. I can't see any growth on it, but I don't know. I'm just avoiding it. I plant these out because I keep saying I'm going to do it, so we're going to get them out into a bigger pot and then join me back at home for some sowing. I also want to share with you some Lidl's mini greenhouses I picked up. I did put it on the community post, but I think these are going to be fantastic for growing peppers. Back at home, the peppers we got on the windowsill, they've not come up. They were not happy. The tomatoes have done okay, because I wanted to get a few tomatoes in early and then plant some more at the end of March and in April, so we got a staggered crop. They've done really well on the windowsill, but the peppers haven't come up, and they've been a fair few weeks. So I'm going to put some seeds in a propagator, and we're going to have a look at that and see if we can get them going. The Japanese greens aren't looking too good as well. I'll show you that. The rocket's looking really good, and the tomatoes need putting into bigger pots. So all of that to come. We'll do that. First of all though, I'm going to finish my coffee. I'm going to try and do this very sparingly, if I can, one at a time, even though these seeds are incredibly small. While I'm at it, I'm actually going to put a row of carrots in with the onions as well, I think. So much happier with the last of the raised beds in. There's 11 beds to work with this spring. The mystery bulbs are in their new pots. Right, get off my veggies. I'm going to plant a row of spring onions. Pat that down. So that's the compost. I'll just wet it already with some rainwater. This is going to grow indoors, and then I'm going to move it to the allotment. So I think we're just going to do a line across here, a line in the middle, and a line there. Made a little trench. So these are the tiny little seeds. Just gonna try and space them out along the trench. Remainder back in the pack. 3/4 of the pack left anyway to grow some more April, May time. And then we're just gonna cover them with the soil. When they all come up, if there's any which are way too close, like really close, like on top of each other, then all we're going to do is we're just going to pinch them out and then have 3 lovely lines of spring onions, which you'll see later on in the year. It's a little bit more water, and then we're going to put it on a windowsill. But I'm going to put some sweet peas in a pot because it says sow indoors from January to May. And quite big seeds, these ones. I've not really done much with sweet peas before, so we grow 3 in here, and this is a bigger pot, so we go 4 in here. And again, plenty more to sow later on. There's no point sowing everything all at the same time, and even the same crop. A bit like the spring onions, we're going to grow some early and then we'll grow some later on. A little tip, I always like to staple the packs shut. So when I chuck them in the bags, I also like to put them in these waterproof bags once I've opened them. But stapling them shut keeps them sealed up so they don't spread everywhere, and then the waterproof bag just stops any rain or anything getting onto them, any moisture getting into the seeds. So you just cover them up. Again, this has already been well watered, this soil. Stick that on a sunny window ledge. They're on a sunny window ledge. We'll keep an eye on them over the next few weeks, keep them well watered. The onions have taken over another window ledge. The Japanese greens actually look a little bit happier today with a bit more water. They were looking a bit yellow and unhappy the other day. Then we've got the rocket, which I've repotted into a bigger pot. We're going to let that bush out, and then we can start taking some cuttings from it. And the 3 lots of tomato are in bigger pots. I did say that we had no success on the peppers, but if you can see that, there is a small little sprout coming up, and these are going to go out next week because first early should go in towards the end of March. They're definitely ready to go in. Got these little miniature greenhouses. I didn't look properly when I picked them up because all I was interested in was in the greenhouse, because they got little vents on the top and they've got vents on the side, and I thought these would be fantastic to have on the windowsill. The non-vented plastic propagators, they steam up, they get too hot and they go up and down in temperature. I thought these would be great to regulate the temperature. And then I've just set some little labels up on them. So I've got Red Alert Toms, I can never say that, Marmand Toms, Moneymakers, Cherry Tomatoes, and Outdoor Girl Toms to grow in the garden. And on this one I've got strawberries, cayenne peppers, jalapenos, and then I've got some goji berries. Now goji berries was not on my list of things to grow this year, but if you look at the 2 mini greenhouses, there were 4 colours. I just went for the green and the pink one. This one actually comes with strawberry seeds and goji berries. I thought we might as well plant some of them seeds up. They come in these little packs here, Parkside seed packs. And then this one has some dill, chives, basil and cayenne pepper. I do have all those seeds anyway in my sets. Maybe not basil, maybe I'll run out of basil, but we can grow them later on in the season. It came with 2 blocks, so each one came with a block of the condensed dried out soil. I've gone for the potting compost just because I want to make sure they have the best start. Watered it down. We got 3 of each seed to go in. Those are the ones I've opted for. I'm going to set them up on the windowsill. We're going to have a go at some gojis and some strawberries. I might actually go into Lidl's and see what the other ones had with them. I'm in 2 minds if I get a couple more of these, because these would be used year in, year out, because they're solid plastic. That's us done for this week. We've made plenty of progress. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week for another allotment update. Take care.